Hi everyone, this is Dr. Sarala. Welcome to Millet Magic. Today's dish is a popular one in the states of Rajasthan, Gujarat, and Maharashtra. It's a tasty one pot meal which does not require any side dishes to go with it. We present to you Millet Dal Dhokli. There are many versions of this dish with different combinations and proportions of dals being used and also different shapes of dhoklis being made. So here's the recipe for one such version which I like to make. To make the dough for the dhoklis, you will need 1 cup of millet flour. Here I am using brown top millet flour, but you could use the flour of any of the 5 positive millets. Since millets are gluten free, we will need to add 1/4 cup of urad dal flour for binding. You'll also need a pinch of turmeric, about 1 teaspoon of red chili powder, 1 teaspoon of dhania powder, and about 2 tablespoons of oil. Here I am using groundnut oil which has been extracted by bull-driven wooden garnies. Now into a plate, add in the millet flour and the urad dal flour. Note the ratio, 4 parts of millet flour is to 1 part of urad dal flour. Add in the turmeric, the red chili powder, the dhania powder and some salt to taste. Now heat 2 tablespoons of oil and add it over the flour. Carefully mix everything well together to form crumbs. Set it aside for 5 minutes. Now add in hot water little by little to moisten the entire flour. Allow it to rest again for 10 to 15 minutes. Then kneading well, bring all the flour together to form a soft dough. Kneading well makes the dough soft and easy to use. Cover with a wet cloth and allow the dough to rest for at least 2 hours. Millets are rich in fiber and need to be soaked well before being used. So allowing the dough to rest for 2 to 6 hours will also be the soaking time for the millets. Resting the dough well also makes it much easier to roll out the dough. After the resting period, you can roll out the dough like chapatis and cut it into small diamond-shaped pieces. But instead, today I am going to be showing you the traditional Rajasthani way of making dhoklis. If you have recently started using millets and are finding it difficult to roll out the dough, then this would be an easy way to make dhoklis. Pinch out small portions of the rested millet dough. Press gently with your fingers to flatten it out and give a round shape. Make a small hole in the center with the tip of your finger. This helps to ensure that the dhoklis cook well even in the center. The dhoklis should neither be too thin nor too thick. Repeat the same with the entire amount of dough and set aside the ready dhoklis. Now in a vessel, bring water to a boil. Carefully add in all the dhoklis one by one. Allow to simmer on a medium flame for about 10 to 15 minutes. Add in a teaspoon of oil to ensure that the dhoklis do not stick to each other. When the dhoklis are almost cooked, turn off the flame and set them aside. Meanwhile, to make the dal, soak about 1/4 to 1/3 cup of either tur dal or moong dal for an hour. Discard the water used for soaking and cook the dal softly with a pinch of turmeric. Then churn the dal well so that it all gets mashed well together. And now for the tadka, you will need half a teaspoon of mustard, around 2 teaspoons of jeera, around 3 to 4 red chilies, an inch of ginger which has been made into a paste, 2 to 3 green chilies which have been coarsely pounded into a paste, a generous amount of hing, 1 small tomato cut into small pieces, half a teaspoon of dhania powder and half a teaspoon of red chili powder, a bunch of curry leaves, finely chopped fresh coriander to go into the dal and also for the garnish, and optionally you can use the juice of fresh lime and finely chopped onions for garnish as well. Heat some oil in a thick bottomed vessel, and once the oil is hot, add in the mustard seeds and allow them to splutter. Add in the jeera, then break the red chilies into half and add them into the tadka. Then add in the curry leaves, the chili paste, then add in the ginger paste and saute well for another minute. Then add in the finely chopped tomatoes and give it a nice mix. Add salt to taste, mix well and allow the tomatoes to cook. Once the tomatoes have softened, add in the cooked and mashed dal which we had kept aside earlier. At this stage, you could add in half a teaspoon of red chili powder and half a teaspoon of dhania powder. Remember, we have already added red chilies and green chili paste. Allow the dal to simmer well for about 5 minutes. Next, add in the hing and give it a nice mix. Now gently start adding in the cooked dhoklis. Carefully mix everything well together. You can adjust the consistency by adding water if required. Turn down the flame to sim and allow the dal to simmer with the dhoklis for another 5 to 10 minutes. During this time, the dhoklis absorb all the flavors and release some starch into the dal, making it thicker and tastier. Lastly, add in the finely chopped coriander and give it a final mix. Transfer the dal dhokli into serving bowls. Top it with a dash of lemon juice, finely chopped onions, some fresh coriander, and a drizzle of desi ghee. This traditional dish of dal dhokli makes for a very enjoyable and satisfying meal. The smoothness of the dal, the flavors of the ingredients of the tadka, the chunkiness of the dhoklis, and the crunchiness of the raw onions. Together, they make eating dal dhokli a wonderful experience. If you have been making dal dhokli before, do try it out now with millets. If you've never made this dish before, do try it out once and then I'm sure it's going to become a regular in your kitchen. We'll be back soon with another interesting millet recipe. Until then, happy cooking!